Some people are afraid to admit to this, but a show that currently has a main character dealing with flappy quagmire syndrome that is just head over heels for those panties. Hell, he prays to said panties. A girl that is tagging along with him who has a curse that if she isn't if she doesn't get laid almost every damn second of every damn day, who knows what will happen. It is Isekai at its best, and I'm done pretending like it's not. Like, sometimes people who are the harshest critics to something like a Jobless Reincarnation, that Mushoku Tensei greatness, they just bring up, like, at face value what some of these quirks or traits about a character are, and they say, see, it's absolutely stupid. But I appreciate that this show, the brilliance of it, doesn't come from seeing Rudy cast an amazing chantless spell that just absolutely destroys the screen and we say, damn, look at that saga. It is good. It is fun. The thing that really makes, I think, most in this fandom come back week after week to watch it or dive into that source material is because the character writing is so great at showing all sides of the human spectrum. We have the good, we have the bad, we have the horrible, and we have the flawed. If you look at Rudy, where he currently is right now, to the start of this show, it is a night and day difference with his character arc, and I love the fact that while you might be able to meme, and many people do, about how pretty much he went to this school because he wants to be able to get hard again, but that's a real syndrome. That's something that does mess with people, not being able to get it up. This literally ruins people's lives. It absolutely does take a mental toll. But you have to remember, one of the best moments in season 1 was the confrontation between Rudy and his father, Paul, and the idea that he throws it in his face about how he hadn't been thinking about his mother, hasn't been thinking about his family, only his little party that he's been going through. And that conversation, that wasn't a one throwaway moment of drama. The fact that he's still actively investigating teleportation, despite, yes, it may be a more selfish reason for some people, but damn it, who wouldn't want to be able to fix something that's negatively affecting you? But the fact that he still is caring about that, despite we can have so many perverted scenes, at the end of the day, the character writing is truly what makes this show pop, and the fact that a show like this, an isekai, isn't afraid to dive into the personal well-being and health of a male who just can't get it up. I mean, that is good character writing, and god damn it, I'm done pretending like it's not, because some critics like to meme a couple of things out of context about this show. This is fantastic. Now, I do have a full live reaction to Season 2, Episode 5 available on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full live reaction, it is over there if you're interested. It was a great episode. In fact, this was one of my personal favorites of the show as a whole right now. The only thing I really take away from this episode that might bother me if it never gets touched upon is something I really liked about the OVAs, whether it was Eris and her goblin slaying adventures, whether it's episode 0 of season 2 getting to see from Sylphie's perspective on how obviously she became Fitz, and what I would really like to see, whether that's a special episode in between cores, I need to see it from Sylphie's perspective. Now, potentially, maybe the source does eventually go there, maybe it doesn't. I don't care if it needs to be anime original, I don't care. I just would love to see an episode after Rudy learns the truth about who he's been interacting with. I would love to see it from her perspective, because you just know there's gotta be so many internal thoughts going on, and I think it would be a great OVA. But it is nice that those OVAs do come in to matter in the grand picture. It's more than just getting a little more detail on characters. Sometimes the characters, like, as an example, Eris interacting with Cliff, which was in the Goblin Slaying OVA, we get to meet him in this episode, and obviously from Rudy's perspective, had we never watched that OVA as an example, right? We would be wondering, wait a second, why does she know this Cliff boy? When she up and left, did she have an adventure with him? Like, we just don't know exactly, but because of that OVA, we get to understand. And of course, there's callbacks like, oh, Master, I can't believe Master's in my class. Like, oh man, I thought we were done with you, but honestly, surprisingly normal in the grand picture. And what was great about this is because when you hear about a character going to isekai school, magic school, right? I think a lot of people collectively roll their eyes. Me, I'm not really one to roll my eyes at it, but I'm not expecting usually the greatest of content. But by having Rudy almost be more of a researcher than a student, yeah, he has to go to homeroom once a month, but at the end of the day, he can kind of do whatever he wants outside of that, and he's obviously responsible for his own mistakes or issues or any events he might get tangled into, but it's really cool. And the moment when obviously the panties fall from the sky, right? This was a very interesting moment because obviously he doesn't know all the rules. Apparently he's not allowed to walk through here. No one told him, right? the fact that he gets ganged up immediately, I thought someone was framing him. Like, I thought someone purposely threw it out so that he would pick it up and then obviously they'd all jump on him. Gorilla Woman came down and goddamn, like, yes, I can understand a lot of the Beast Girls in this show. You know, the cat ears, dog ears, little tail, but goddamn, you cannot be down bad enough to go for a gorilla. And Rudy, I think, was ready to run for the damn hills. And thankfully, Fitz comes down and says, hey, I'll blast your ass. And honestly, I really appreciate that. Because it's very interesting because obviously Rudy doesn't know that this is Sylphie. And Sylphie obviously knows it's Rudy. And what's interesting is I'm not sure the total direction they're going because obviously Rudy is starting to respect. But, you know, the very final moment, I feel like Rudy was like a little questioning his sexual taste there because as far as he's looking at it, this is a dude, and honestly, that blush is like, damn, bro, maybe I do swing for the other team, and goddamn, who wouldn't if you looked like that, right? I appreciate the fact that that mystery of not knowing that this is a childhood friend, it does make sense, because while we as an anime viewer, even without the reveal, could look at this character design and say, oh, that's probably Sylphie, and if not, it has to be related. For Rudy, this is a real living and breathing world, right? The idea that, yes, if you put them side by side, he would probably be able to pick it out. But at the end of the day, this is a real world where maybe he might at one point think, oh damn, you remind me of someone I used to know, but it does make sense that he's not just some stupid anime character that putting on some glasses and going from Clark Kent to Superman, right? Like, it does feel a lot more natural of misunderstanding that it's not someone you already know, and I do appreciate that. And his little test of showing his chantless magic, I mean, it starts off pretty cool, but then it gets a little more brutal, and he kind of realizes that maybe he looks like an absolute asshole and has to help up the boy. But overall, like, it just felt good because the idea of looking at Rudy at his absolute lowest at the start of the season, finding a party that made him happy, blowing it with that party, starting off again with someone who used to be such a bully to him, and then parting ways to go off to this academy. We get to see in one episode him once again start off feeling like an outcast, but he feels like he's in a much more healthy headspace. It feels like while, yes, he's starting off with a lot of people maybe looking down on him or maybe not really feeling like he's fitting in, compare the moment when he first walked into that tavern and everyone was looking down at him like, oh man, what's this child doing here in the grand picture? Despite a lot of people looking down at him at this school, he doesn't feel as isolated or as close to jumping off a bridge again because he's been working on his depression, he's been working on his isolation, and he's been working at bettering himself. And while yes, it is fun to make the jokes about the panties or the damn, look at how horned up this woman is, and yeah, wear stockings, you won't be cold, and you can pull the skirt up and you can keep your curse from going wild. At the end of the day, most of what people hype up about this show isn't even fight scenes or fan service or perverted moments, it's actually the character writing as I just did over the course of this entire review. Now obviously, we won't be able to change the harshest of critics to Mushoku Tensei's minds, and that's fine, everyone has their opinions, but I'm tired of pretending, man. I think this is probably my new favorite isekai. Like, I mean, there's a few that have been tiptoeing of which one I would truly put on the top, but we're not even halfway through its first core of season 2, and I already feel like this is probably my current favorite one. But that's just me. Thoughts down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel, and like I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Liliana, Athiel Choi, Diedrich Savon, Dawn, and Anthony Boughton. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.